everybody, my name is Luke Marr and this is HauteLeMode, and today on HauteLeMode we are getting into the Venice Film Festival 2020 red carpet roast and review. Now, to be honest, we haven't had too many red carpets going on as of late. I mean, we had the VMAs, which was a moment. There were some good looks going on there. And honestly, Venice started the 2nd of September and has lasted till the 12th of September. So you have more of a long period.
A long periodically time.
To sort of get looks over time with Venice, which I think is actually kind of nice, because when the girls show up, they oftentimes show out. And the thing about Venice is it is quite like old world glamour. You have a lot of haute couture showing up on the red carpet. I mean, namely in this one, Chanel, Giorgio Armani, just to name a few. It's definitely more shishi, fashion, upper class, luxury, wealthy, which, you know, can work. And I think worked here on this red carpet, I have to say. The fact that I'm devoid of red carpets for the past 6 months could play into why I'm kind of enjoying this. But alas, let's get into it, talk about the looks, see what went on, and give our opinions on a few of them. First up is Amira Casar, and she is wearing this beautiful Loewe gown. Now this is from the fall 2020 collection. The most striking thing about this dress, I have to say, is this green fabric. It's a really sort of nice, sweet green with a lot of gold embroidery or some sort of gold thread actually woven into this fabric, which I think creates a really nice little motif on it. And as the light, you know, fades and shines on it from the cameras flashing, I assume that's sort of where we start to pick up this gold and the pattern really starts to show through. Or maybe that's not gold. Maybe that's just a metallic-y thread. I made up the gold part. Now, Jonathan Anderson designs for Loewe, and I have to say the interesting sort of black section that is in the front and sort of the torso of the dress, it's actually kind of nice, I have to say. There's something about it that creates a body shape and helps to sort of outline the torso, which again, nice to see. And the way that the green metallic fabric is sort of pulled and gathered as it like meets at the obliques, the hips, the rib cage, actually is interesting. Would I say it's necessarily the best thing I've ever seen? No, but I think something about Jonathan Anderson's Loewe is it definitely pushes you out of your comfort zone and makes you think a little bit wider into what clothing can actually be. I'm also not obsessed with the bag, and to me, Loewe is a bag brand. Like, from what I understand, it is a brand that has repeatedly, year after year, really started to develop a revenue source for Loewe. So the bag game on the red carpet should be very strong from Loewe, in my opinion. It's a risk. I think it's definitely an interesting dress. I'm not hateful of it. I'm not absolutely gagging over it, but it is cool to see a little bit of weird, wacky Loewe out on the red carpet. Next up is Anna Foglietta wearing Armani, and listen, it's a simple sort of black tuxedo suit. As Anna Wintour famously once said, Armani dresses the wife and Versace dresses the mistress, and here I think this is a perfect example of it's Armani, it's classic, it's very clean, what a working woman would wear. To me, this is like a suit jacket that wouldn't just have fake pockets in it, but something about Armani seems very like real. You know, it's real clothing, it's something that you actually can wear, it's actually made to like work into a woman's wardrobe rather than like a crazy, ridiculous showpiece, which listen, don't get me wrong, I love a crazy, ridiculous showpiece, but it is important to also see clothing that are actually wearable for the everyday person on a red carpet oftentimes too. And I feel like using a black suit with a little bit of a wide leg pant and a simple button down with beautiful little black buttons is a great way to put that across for Armani. They can say, listen, we can do the beautiful gowns on the red carpet, but we can also do a nice suit if that's what you're looking for. Next up, we're getting into the Cate Blanchett section of the video. Now, if you do not know, Cate Blanchett, every single year at Venice Film Festival, she sort of delivers. Like, this is her, like, home turf. Like, this is where she comes. She does not play. Well, she plays, but she plays very well, so it's almost like she's not playing, but she is playing. And first up, we're going to talk about this Alexander McQueen look. Now, she's doing a sort of tutu, frilly, peplum Alexander McQueen with a dramatic one shoulder of, you know, ruffles cascading down the arm in a pale pink with some sort of silver embroidery on the skirt. And she's paired it over a blazer, a black blazer. Here's my thing. I love the fact that we're bringing in the tailoring to Alexander McQueen. It's essential to the brand, you know, yada, 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 yada. I don't think this black suit jacket works here. It just feels very weird, almost like I'm cold, somebody get me a jacket that I can wear. And listen, I love not being cold, but also I prefer that the jacket matched the dress, or like played off the dress in a sort of better way, because the dress, it's rough on its own, but I think it's even rougher with the jacket. And the dress, again, let's get back to her. She needs to calm down. She feels very, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. What's your name? Oh my God, what's your last name? How do you spell that? What's your social security number? Also, how many kids do you have? What was the name of your first animal? When's your birthday? Also, question, who was your first teacher in school? It's giving me very too much. I'm good. Thank you a lot. The peplum is dramatic. The shoulders are ridiculous. The embroidery, it looks like dead fish bones laid all across the dress. I just don't get it, and I understand Sarah Burton can do big and dramatic and ruffles and flair, but listen, love an Alexander McQueen tailored experience, still working on the flue aspect, the draping, the, you know, softness at McQueen. I'm not sold on it yet. Cate did show up in another Alexander McQueen look. Some sort of embroidered floral top. It's sort of like a tank top with a little bit of a drape down of the flowers, which I feel like is a good Trump Loewe sort of effect. And you actually can see, if you zoom in on this little top, that all of the flowers seem to be outlined or have a background of black. And so I think that they probably embroidered all of the flowers or wove all of the flowers onto a black piece of fabric like this. And I think matching it with a simple black pant is a perfect way to accentuate that, relate them together, and for it not to be like too dramatic, you know what I mean? I think McQueen is a great brand for bringing the masculine and feminine sort of together, and in the last example, it feels very forced, whereas here, the floral top, it's quite feminine, it's quite simple, it's quite beautiful, it has, you know, sort of like a decorative aspect to it, and then you match it with a beautiful pair of Alexander McQueen tailored pants, because that's what McQueen does. They make a hot, sexy little pant because the man was a tailor. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. I think this is a great example. I love the fact that it's re-wearing pieces from years ago, bringing that sustainability aspect back to the red carpet, or to the red carpet for the first time, or one of the first times. So, Cate, proud of you. Looks great. Can't deny it. We appreciate. Let's get into this Armani Prive section. Again, Cate Blanchett, queen, icon, legend, wears a lot of Armani Prive, and if you do not know, there are a bunch of different Armani brands. There's Emporio Armani, Giorgio Armani, Armani Armani, Armani Armani Armani, and then Armani Prive for those in the upper echelons of societe. Now, Armani Prive is the haute couture line of Armani, and they do get a lot of wear on the Venice Film Festival red carpets, usually. So, first up is Cate in this black dress. It's really simple. It's quite like deep plunging. It has a beautiful little bit of a train and this gorgeous, stunning, like suck you in black hole black. There are some like sequin or embroidered details that gives a little bit of shine, almost creates like a tree or branch or floral effect. And honestly, I like it. I think it's great. I think it works. I think it doesn't take away from the shape and the silhouette of the dress, which I think is important. And then, you know what? This tied little belt, normally I'm not a big belt person, but to me, I like the fact that this is a thick belt. It sort of creates shape in its own way. You have the bows, you have little strings that come out of the bow. It sort of is giving me inspired a little bit by like Japanese bows, or, you know, ties or sashes or something like that. I could be totally off. I really could be, but that's what I get here, and I like it. I think it's really nice. I think it's really simple. I think it sort of pulls it all together in a way that, you know, closes up the waist in a way that Cate Blanchett would want, and allows the rest of the dress to do the job that is necessary, which is look stunning. So, proud of it. Next up is one of Cate Blanchett's last looks from the Venice Film Festival. This Armani Prive gown is stunning, beautiful. I love it. I'm not a color person like this. Like these colors, I would see them and feel very I don't get it. I'm not getting it. But here, I think this beautiful black tulle cape is stunning. It allows the actual motifs to really work and move through the dress. And it's a simple black dress underneath, which again, sort of ties in. It allows the black tulle to have something that it drapes over. It allows the body to take shape underneath, but also the cape is sheer, so it allows these motifs to sort of come through and play on top of the dress underneath. And I feel like it's very smart. I feel like it's very chic. Again, it's sort of pushing me a little bit out of my comfort zone in terms of what colors I feel like can work and what colors can work with black specifically. I wouldn't normally think that a green, a red, and a blue, and a yellow, these primary sort of style colors, would work well with a black in this case, but something about it makes sense to me. I get it, I understand it, and the cape adds a bit of drama and flair, which we love to see. So proud of Cate Blanchett. Listen, she's killed it. She's doing moments. She's serving you. She's serving you on a platter, a very fancy little silver platter with some Venetian details on top. The last Armani look that we're going to be talking about for Cate Blanchett is this gray and black diagonal stripe jumpsuit with a big old red and black belt. And listen, I appreciate the stepping out, the trying, the taking the risk, but as we all know, sometimes we take risks. They don't work out. I think this is a great example of that. I get it, and I like the fact that Cate has sort of gone for like a baggy, wide leg pant for the entirety of her sort of, you know, more tailored looks during the Venice Film Festival red carpet, but this one I don't think she works. I don't think we're in the same game. I don't think we're on the same level. I don't think we're playing in the same atmosphere, stratosphere, whatever a sphere. It's just not working for me. I feel like the motif of the black and the gray stripes are rough on their own, and then when you diagonal them, I just don't know how that works. I don't feel like she delivers. The other thing is the top. She's just baggy. She's just falling over this big belt, and I wish maybe the top had been a little bit more fitted. Maybe that could have helped it out a little bit. Like the fabric is just like, there's too much of me, you know, sort of flops over, and I don't want that for Cate. I want better, so not as proud in this regard. The last look we will talk about is this blue Esteban Cortazar look. It's probably one of my favorite looks from the entirety of Venice Film Festival. It's so simple, but it utilizes silhouette, it utilizes draping in a way that just... It's this beautiful sort of fitted gown. It's in this gorgeous blue. Oh yeah, she's glittery. She's glittery. She's not sequins. She's not a sequence dress, but she's definitely glittery. It uses this white sort of thick piping that goes all along the sleeves and sort of comes down and helps to create shape in the hips and thigh area, which I thought was really lovely. I love that the sleeves do create this beautiful cape sort of style. They are sort of larger than life. They create a bit of drama, a bit of flair, and we love to see it. And then finally, the way that this fabric sort of creates a little bit of like a mermaid high-low effect. I can't tell if it's a mermaid actually, or if it's just the white sort of comes down and then the dress sort of flares out a little bit at the bottom. But I like it. I'm proud of it.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular.
Next up is Elodie, who I do not know, but I do know that she is wearing a Versace look. Now, we talked about these sort of Versace looks recently in the VMAs video, and even when we did our reviews of the fall 2020 collections from Versace. But if you do not know this beautiful chainmail material, let me educate you a little bit. In 1982, Gianni Versace was still around, still kicking, was really youthful and fun and exciting, and a great designer to me is somebody that can develop their own fabric. Gianni, from what I understand, invented a couple. But one of the fabrics that was so important to his work was Oroton.
Oroton.
Now, Oroton essentially was a chainmail-like fabric, and you can see it here. It was shown quite often on the runway during his early work, but I think Donatella has sort of started to really get back into utilizing it, although not in the best ways always. But here, Elodie is wearing a longer sort of gown version of one of the finale looks from the fall 2020 collection. Now, in a cocktail dress cut, I don't think it's very flattering. I think you can actually see the way that the chainmail is cut, that it's not even. So there is this silver sort of headband piece that helps to create a little bit of a neckline. It gives me very Blair Waldorf head band, but you know what? I'm fine with it. She's growing on me. And the great thing about haute couture that we need to understand is when you look at designers who utilized chainmail in the past, like Paco Rabanne, a lot of his early work was very like heavy, and some may even say costumey, whereas Gianni Versace's haute couture and this chainmail was meant to really be something that stuck to the body. It was meant to be sexy, it was meant to be flashy, it was meant to actually highlight the body. It was meant to be very sexy, which is very Versace. And I feel like the way that you can see the haute couture actually fit Miss Elodie would actually show you that, yeah, that's true, that's what it's meant to do. I feel like it has a sexy sort of flair. Normally I'm not a big slit person, but here, the silver, it's slinky, it's gorgeous, it's stunning, it falls beautifully, and I think the slit is a great way to sort of highlight that Versace sex that we know and love so much. Overall, it's actually a great dress with a lot of history from the Versace world, and I like to see it done properly, effectively, and without ugly embroidery on top. Next up is Francesca Hayward, and she is wearing Miu Miu. Now, if you do not know Miu Miu, it is the brand that is the secondary sister to Miuccia Prada's Prada. So here, Miu Miu, it's a little bit more, I don't want to say girly, but it definitely has a sort of younger flair. It's a little bit edgier, but it has a sweet side. It utilizes a lot of motifs, prints, patterns, and then sort of takes embellishments and youthful styles like cut shorts and sweet sweaters, and that's what it is. And here I think it's actually not that bad. Normally we don't get a lot of great Miu Miu moments, and this one, it's one I'll take. So I love this sort of haltery style in this silver cut. I want to call it like a body jewelry, but it's like straps of the dress. And then you have this quite light green sort of mod-esque floral that, you know, creates little bra cups and a little bit of a skirt, and then she has a lot of cutouts. She's showing off a lot, but I have to say I think it works. I think it makes sense. I think the motif is a little bit different from Miu Miu, but in reality, I think that it's young, it's sort of fresh, and it does have an old world sort of referential style. I'm not sure of the textile design here, but I do know that there are textiles throughout history that have sort of done this shape and this sort of, you know, half and half. They're almost like symmetrical styles. So here, I think it works. I think it has a little bit of flit, a little bit of flair, has a little bit of bling, and captures a little bit of the essence of today, which is show off what you got and don't be ashamed of it. Next up is Gia Coppola, and she is wearing Gucci. Now, listen, it's an ugly dress. That just goes without saying, but the other thing is sometimes designers like Alessandro Michele at Gucci intend for dresses to be ugly. So we have this sort of ombre pastel experience. The top and a little bit of the skirt is in this yellow. It has these billowing sleeves. It is piped in these crystals. You even have some sort of floral or angelic looking little motif to sort of create some sort of collar, even though it's sort of a turtleneck at the same time. Then as the dress falls, it falls into sort of like a shorter purple, a shorter pink, with some sort of wave and like Greco-Roman hem details, and then a little bit of like a teal sort of floral leaf skirt as well. In reality, it definitely is ugly, as we mentioned, but to me, it again is a risk. It's something that you're gonna wear Gucci, it's gonna be crazy, ridiculous, outlandish, over the top, and probably ugly to just about everybody, but that's part of the brand's allure. That's part of why people really enjoy wearing Alessandro Michele's work, and personally, it's something that I'm not sick of yet. Like, I like to see a little bit of an ugly Gucci look, and I feel like it's very reminiscent of the 60s, 70s sort of style. It definitely is gauche and tacky and in your face, which is very Gucci as well. In reality, it's rough, but I enjoy a little bit of roughness when it comes to Gucci. Gia wore another Gucci look. Now this one is a little bit more structured, a little bit less in your face, over the top, straight out of a vintage store sort of vibe. It's a floral, looks like, you know, I'm gonna say like a windflower or like a poppy sort of experience. And it's a structured top, it's quite cropped, but the thing is, this structured skirt is quite high-waisted, at least in my opinion. And you can tell that it's Gucci because in little writing, you know, it says Gucci on it, which is very Gucci. They like to put their names on it. They like it to be known who it is. But here, I think the print is really great at letting the flowers take center stage, and you really have to look, at least I did, to see that it says Gucci on there. Do we think it's the best look in the entire world? No, but to me it feels a little bit more pulled back, a little bit more restrained Gucci. Definitely the print is in your face, it's over the top, it's kind of ridiculous, but this feels more elevated, a little bit more understandable and understated for Gucci, and if this is as understated as we're gonna get with Gucci, it is what it is, I'll take it, it's fine. Next up is Jeremy O. Harris. I love Jeremy O. Harris. He is a playwright and director from Broadway, and he's wearing Thom Browne, and I love a Thom Browne placement. I think it's fantastic. I love to see it. It's very rare that we've seen it recently. So he's wearing this sort of dolphin blazer. It's a black blazer, white little dolphins on it, a kind of unkempt, buttoned up shirt. The collar is a bit, you know, all over the place, and it's not really buttoned up looking, and a sort of a limp skinny tie is sort of, you know, roughly tied over top of it, which I love. And then we have a little pleated skirt or skort or kilt or whatever it is, a black and white Thom Browne striped sock so that you know it's Thom Browne sockless, and if it's 3 stripes going horizontal, you know it's Thom Browne. And a quite simple little red loafer that sort of matches his bag. And the bag is Gucci. I don't know if the shoes are also Gucci, but I assume because they're matching, they probably are. And I feel like Jeremy O. Harris has worked with Gucci quite extensively. He's part of their like ambassador world. But I like the fact that he's mixing it with Thom Browne. I personally would have loved to see Jeremy O. Harris in like a beautiful derby high heel with this Thom Browne look, but I understand he's sort of paying respect and homage to his Gooch, but I would have loved a full Thom moment, experience, you know, extravaganza. I have to be very, very honest. This to me feels very dressed up. This to me feels very modern, a modern take on suiting and tailoring, and to me, more and more, this is becoming like seen as normal and sort of like black tie. And I love that. That's what I want, because like I don't want to wear a stuffy suit to everything in my life. I'd like to, you know, show out, show up, give the girls a little bit of a look. And I feel like Jeremy is helping to sort of push that narrative, push to show that this is possible and that it can be done and it can be elegant and chic and should be part of the norm. Next up is Catherine Waterhouse, and she is wearing this Prada fringe dress. And I love this. This is very reminiscent of the Fall 2020 show, which is one of Miuccia Prada's last collections solo for the House of Prada. And you know what? I think it's brilliant. The dress is pretty much in strips, black strips, and it has some sort of like light stringy fringe at the bottom as well. But the strips are sort of from the shoulders down to the ankles, which I feel like is a good, strong follow through. A lot of the times I feel like we would see this. But I feel like with Prada, it would be the skirt of these, you know, strips and fringes, and the top would be some sort of ugly, like trying to be cute and chic and whatever. And this to me is great. This is Prada. It follows through. It's all the way ridiculous. It's all the way fully this sort of cutout strip fringe dress that I need to know more about. It's a great reference back to the Fall 2020 collection and a great way to show that style, which a lot of people probably were like, ugh, what is that? Can actually be quite chic, quite elegant, quite elevated, and easily done on a red carpet. I feel like Catherine sort of took it, made it really classic, simple, easy, understandable, and palatable to the everyday person. You can't tell me that this isn't a cute little look. I'm happy with it. I'm sold on it. It's Trey Prada, and I love to see it. Next up is Catherine Waterston, and she is wearing Gabriella Hearst. It is a quite simple sort of column dress with a strapless neckline in a white. Gabriella Hearst is interesting to me. It's very American, very commercial, very simple. There's not really too many like statement style, statement fabrics, statement techniques that I associate with the brand. To me, this could have been a really great example of trying to push the Gabriella Hearst brand sort of in your face a little bit more. Like it could have been a real wow little moment. Having a nice Venice Film Festival placement is always good, always important, but in American style, or at least American fashion style, it's just a simple dress. There's nothing really amazing about it. There's nothing really interesting about it. You know, you'd see it, say, oh wow, a strapless white dress. Good to know. And that's it. Again, the Americans, like, guys, put it together. Give us something interesting. Give us something good. Give us something that is memorable. but no, we just can't deliver in that regard, I guess. Next up is Catherine Waterston, again in Prada, and now, listen, this is another white dress. Now you're probably gonna say, Luke, you just said that white dress by Gabriella Hearst was a bit ugh. Now, it is. And now you probably will sit there and say, oh my god, Luke, this Prada dress on Catherine Waterston is just ugh. But to me, it's really not. Understanding the history of Prada, this is very reminiscent of Miuccia Prada's original collection in autumn-winter 1989, 1988, in that general vicinity, and that first collection had a lot of sort of stylistic references to women of the 1950s, and that's why I kind of like this look. It feels very early Prada, very, you know, dating back to Miuccia Prada's growing up, what her mother would wear, what her grandmother would wear, what sort of Italian women at that time wore. It has that sort of new look Dior feel where it's a nipped in waist and a full skirt, although here the button up sort of adds that Miuccia Prada-isms in that she takes sort of masculine styles and pieces that are normally associated with menswear and sort of brings it over to women's wear and allows it to infuse a bit with feminine traditional styles. So that's what I'm getting here. I really like it. I do think the white probably doesn't emulate the colors of early Miuccia collections, or at least the very early Miuccia collections that we're talking about right now. But for the Venice Film Festival, I actually think it's a kind of nice little moment. I think it makes sense. It is very reminiscent of sort of Italian women in the 1950s. I've never been to Italy in the 1950s, but that's sort of what I would imagine the look sort of looked like, but with a little bit of a more masculine spin, because Miuccia Prada likes to turn things on their head just a little bit. So I personally enjoy it, and I think because of the referencing and the history that I'm at least seeing, it makes a lot of sense, and it's sort of a nice callback to Prada. Next up is Lotte Verbeek, and she is wearing Alberta Ferretti, and again, I feel like we're going to see a lot of the Italians on here. This is home turf. This is the place that they can come, say this is ours. We're not Venetian, but we're Italian. Bing, bang, boom, gabagool, prosciutto, mozzarella, burrata, like, you know, that's their vibe. That's what they're living for. So this Alberta Ferretti dress, I don't love it. I like the color of it. I love this gray. I actually think it's really, really beautiful. I love the fact that, you know, somebody can do a nice flowy, sort of light, luscious, sensuous dress here, and I really like the cape as well. I actually think it's really, really nice. I think it's beautiful. I think it adds a sort of old world feel to it. I can't get behind the embellishments and the embroidery. It just feels very cheap and chintzy, and personally when you put embroidery on a beautiful sort of flowing gown like this, it just proms it up a little bit to me, and it's not even senior prom. It's like junior prom. It's not cute. I don't think it works. The other thing is I like the details of the pulling. I do think that more and more I'm sort of coming to terms with the fact that it's a thing, it happens. How can I find a way to enjoy it, to, you know, make it better for me? And I love the way that it falls down right here at this sort of, you know, underbreast area, but I don't like the way it's pulled across, and it creates this little small square in the center that I just keep looking at, and that's not what I want. I don't want to keep looking at a weird square that I don't understand why that's there. So I'd like to like this look. There are elements of this look that I enjoy, but overall it got a little bit caught up in the vajazzle machine for me. Next up is Mati Diop, and she is wearing Miu Miu. I want to like it. I can't though. I do like the stripes. It's giving me very sailor, French, Breton style in a nice little crop top, although you lose me with the sequins. It's like I get where it's coming from, but I'm lost. I'm not wanting to be her friend. I'd like to be her friend, but I just can't. I just can't look at her. She's rough. But I do like these pants. I do feel like the pants sort of work. They're a nice wide leg. I like the circular belt embellishment detail going on, but you just can't sell me on the ugly stripes. It's just not gonna work. And listen, it's very Miu Miu, it's very young, she, haha, hee hee, QQ. I don't know what QQ means. But yeah, it works in that regard. It's very on brand, but I don't think it looks good. Next up is Maddie Faldiba, and she is wearing Etro, and I like this. I'm not really a big Etro person. The paisley print never really hits home for me in the way I think they'd like it to. But something about this color is really beautiful on her. I think it's stunning. I do think it's gorgeous. I think the, you know, strap details are interesting, but I think at the torso we're a little bit caught up with the cutouts, and I don't know if that works in the way we'd like. I like that it's sort of the tied and draped and pulled bra straps, and then the straps are actually looping through to sort of close it together. But I think when you have so many moving parts on the torso, unless it looks absolutely perfect, you're gonna see a little bit of lopsidedness, a little bit of something's pulled too tight or something's a little bit too loose, and I feel like that's what we're getting here on the torso. But the skirt is stunning. It looks like it's fully pleated, and I think the way that you have this beautiful pink with all of these details of flowers and flora and fauna actually is really stunning. The great thing about it is it's not interrupted, whereas you have pieces and cutouts and strings and straps up here, the skirt just sort of does the job. The skirt is clean and simple, and all you really need with this dress is to look at the textile, to understand it, to see the colors, to see the florals, to see the embroidery, the pleating. That's all great and lovely, but when you complicate and do too much here with a fabric that's already a lot to experience and take in, it creates a lot of noise, and I don't like a lot of noise, so that's what's happening. Next up is Maya Hawke, and she is wearing Atelier Versace, and weirdly enough, I want to like it. I do. I really, truly do. It's really a quite simple nude slip dress from what I'm understanding. It's a little bit transparent, and over top of it with some interesting little piped straps, it's sort of like a fishnet style that has little embellishments and paillettes all over it. Now at the torso and sort of at the waist, it's really quite demure, simple. You can't see too much, but as it starts to descend past like the hips, it really starts to take on an ombre effect of growing larger with more paillettes. It's a little bit more gold, it's a little bit more ostentatious as it turns into a train of sorts. I do want to like it, like I do. I think it's an interesting little concept. Is it, you know, executed as well as I'd like? No. And do I think the nude aspect necessarily helps? For me personally, it doesn't, and I feel like they wanted this to be like a home run. But unfortunately, in my opinion, it went a little bit more foul ball. We still hit it far, you know, we got off the pitcher's mound, but it went into the stands, and we don't want the stands. We want to hit it out of the park. So next time, team, you know, great Bambini, great Bambino, great Bambi, sort of throw it out there. Thank you. Next up is Maya Hawke in another Versace look. This one is worse than the last. This one is, listen, very rarely do I tell people to fire your stylist, but like this is a moment where I say, please reconsider who's dressing you, because this is not it. It's a black turtleneck with a, you know, sort of cleavage cutout and a floral skirt full of roses, blues, and then a little Versace V black leather sandal. It's not cute. It doesn't work. I actually truly think it's one of the most awful looks I've seen in recent times. I would hope Versace gets a handle on whatever this is, because it's not cute. It hurts my brain. You know why this is ugly. I don't have to explain it. Next up is Michelle Lemay, and if you do not know Michelle Lemay, she is the wife of the designer Rick Owens, and she's wearing this. Now, I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, Luke, you have to hate this, and it doesn't work in the way that I'd love it to work, but I appreciate the risk being taken. I really, truly do. I love this red shoulder of draped and gathered and pulled. I think that's actually wonderful. I think that's stunning. We had the dress in just that fabric all the way down, creating a ridiculous shape. I'd be living. I'd be dying. I'd be on the floor. I'd be in the fireplace. Like, it would be amazing. Now, the gray sort of intestine tube top experience that's going on here, it's giving me very ripping the large and small intestines out of somebody's body and then sort of wrapping it around and, you know, sewing it onto like a bra or something. That's what I'm getting. And I want to love it, but I can't. And as for the yellow leather skirt on the bottom, she's a lot. I don't get why she's so much. I do wish that maybe the red had sort of found its way to the bottom instead of the yellow. I just feel like it would have hit better. It would have, you know, tied in a little bit more. But I can't say that I don't love these brown boots with the metal toes and the, you know, plastic heel. Those are hot, I'll be honest. I wish the look was a bit more cohesive and I'd be much more appreciative of it, but unfortunately for me, it doesn't do what I'd love for it to do. Next up is Armani Prive, and she's wearing Chanel Haute Couture. I don't love this. I don't love this little breast detail. I don't like the straps. I don't like the buttons. I don't like the pleats, and I don't like the slit. Like, this look was bad on the runway. It is bad on the red carpet. Sometimes looks are just ugly, and there are very few people that can deliver, change my mind on certain things. Unfortunately, this is not a moment that I will be changing my mind. It is ugly, it's yikes, it's gross, it's sad, I don't understand it, I wish I could understand it, but she's speaking a different language than me, and unfortunately I don't have the Duolingo app in hand, so sorry. Next up is Natasha Andrews, and she is wearing Dior. I know that we're gonna think Luke's doing something over there. There's something going on with him, but I like this a lot. I actually think this is very sweet. I do think that it works. It's Dior, it's Maria Grazia, but I like the black. I like that it's sort of semi-sheer, and I like these sort of white, gray details. I like seeing the bustier underneath the sort of clear, transparent Christian Dior bustiers, and, you know, the linings and the wirings and all that sort of stuff. Do I like the straps? No, but I don't think it's a Maria Grazia dress if the straps fit. You know what I mean? It's just not her. That's not a brand for her. So I can't be mad about it because I know that's how it goes. Overall, it's simple, but I like the color blocking going on. I like the fact that it's semi-sheer. It feels good, and I'm gonna take good with Dior when I can get it. Next up is Natalie Emmanuel, and she is wearing Miu Miu, and I don't understand this. I love Natalie Emmanuel. I think she's brilliant. Speaks 47 languages in Game of Thrones. When she died, sorry if I'm ruining Game of Thrones for anybody, but like, that was the moment I said, fuck this show. I'm done. I'm out. I'm good. See you later. So to see her in Miu Miu, that is atrocious. It's that same sort of moment. She could be so wonderful in Miu Miu, but we get this ugly sort of silky blue skirt with a t-shirt tucked into it. Guys, what's going on? Like, this could be cute and sexy and wonderful and gorgeous. I mean, it doesn't have to be sexy, but it could be cute and wonderful and gorgeous and utilizing beautiful textiles and fabrics and techniques and sort of young and fresh and new and taking on that sort of aura. And then I gotta look at another one because she showed up in Miu Miu again, and like, whoever works at the Miu Miu offices doesn't like her. They said, I'm sorry. No. And I don't appreciate that. This purple peplum bra top dress, terrible A-line skirt, it's just not appropriate. And then you put a slit in the skirt. For what reason?
What was the reason?
Somebody explained to me how this was thought as appropriate, sweet, wonderful, gorgeous, beautiful, show-stopping, and deserving to be on Natalie Emmanuel's body. Shoot me an email, send me a text, a DM, I don't care. Just give me a good reason. Put me out of my misery if you can. There are some good placements at Venice, and next up is Stacey Martin. I don't know who Stacey Martin is. I have no clue. But she wore a lot of Louis Vuitton at Venice, like a lot. And this is what I mean, like Chanel, Armani, Louis Vuitton. The girls, they deliver. They want to come to Venice. They want to stay. So Stacey Martin's first look is, it's sort of a nylon dress with a quite sharp and high little collar and zip. I don't like the little heart embroidery moment going on here, but I do think the belt is actually quite sweet. It feels very Gesquière-esque. The styling is a little bit dramatic, and I like these boots. I like these little steel tip boots. I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with them. I think they're gorgeous. I think they're stunning. Are they like miraculous, you know, seen before a million times? Absolutely, but I think it works here. I weirdly enough have to say that like this is the kind of look that I'm expecting from Miu Miu on the red carpet. Like, it just feels clean and classic. I feel like Nicolas Gesquière kind of loves like a sporty style. You know, whenever he's referencing old historical moments, there's always a little bit of sport in there. So you're doing like 18th century France with a sneaker, or you're getting Grand Prix sort of checkerboard with a sharp tailored pant. Like that's just very how he works, in my opinion. And I think this is a great sort of coming together that's casual, easy, understandable, and, you know, quite LV. Next up is this embroidered dress. I'm not sure of the collection, but we'll put a picture in so you know. I actually like this. I think this is simple, but it's nice. I like to see a little bit of embroidery going on, and I like when the embroidery is taking center stage here, and I really do think that it's making itself known. I love these sort of explosion embroideries. I do think they're really easy peasy simple. I wonder how many of them are actually bought, because I don't really feel like Louis Vuitton clothes are necessarily like the money makers at the brand, but it's nice to see a bit of good LV on a red carpet. I do feel like a lot of the times they sort of underdress their clients a lot, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing at this moment. I feel like it works. I feel like it's quite formal, it's fitted, it has nice sort of expensive details. I'll take it. And finally, the last style for Stacey Martin for Louis Vuitton is this cape moment. I love this. I love a cape. I'm obsessed. Like Edna Mode is saying, darling, you're so stupid. But listen, I'm obsessed. I love the simple cocktail dress underneath. It doesn't take away from anything. It allows the shape to be seen, which we think is gorgeous. And this little capelet, it's a sort of high-low cutout capelet, so it shows the body off, which I think is great. But it utilizes a sort of sporty white top style, and then there's a black sort of level and then a dark blue at the bottom. So in reality, the cape does tie back to the dress underneath, and I think paired with these sort of sporty little sock boots with a steel tip, I'm happy about it. I'm not mad about it. It's simple, it's easy, it works, I get it, I'm here, I'm living, it's silhouette-y. Sold. Next up, Tilda Swinton. Tilda Swinton time. TS, not Taylor Swift, Tilda Swints. We love to see it. I am a Swinty, as the girls like to say. That is a stan of Tilda Swinton. I am one of them. First up, she's wearing Chanel Haute Couture. Now this is from the finale look from the spring 2020 collection, or if it's not the finale look, it's somewhere at the end. I don't like it. I know that I just got off about how much I love Tilda Swinton, because I do, but I don't love this look. I didn't like it on the runway, and unfortunately, I don't think that it's much better on the red carpet. The collar of pleats is just, it's a lot. It's giving me like very Franciscan, ruffle, rough, sort of Amsterdamian, Netherlandic sort of style, but it doesn't have the drama and the volume of a ruff. I love a ruff. The white top, I like that it's knitted. I like that it has texture. I think that's kind of cool. I just don't love the little pleated bottom. It just, I don't think it works. I don't think the shape is great. And then paired with the skirt, no. There's nothing show-stopping, wonderful, amazing about this tiered mermaid skirt. I don't like it. I don't think it works. I don't think it's very cute. Let's go on to the, oh, wait, very important. So we should also probably talk about Tilda's mask. Now, in the style of sort of old Venetian masks and masquerades, Tilda sort of took the face mask with the whole global pandemic thing and, you know, put it to a little bit of fashionable use. So we got this really beautiful sort of handheld mask that had these ribs and spine sort of jutting off of it, and it created this sort of really beautiful, stunning sort of metalwork contraption. Now, James Mary actually has worked with Bjork in the past to create masks for her, so I love that Tilda sort of took the weird, wild, and wacky sort of style that we know her for and sort of turned it into a little bit of a face mask, maybe even a bit of a PSA to wear your goddamn masks. Now, I have to say, with Virginie Viard Chanel, the flou sort of drapery, lightness, airy sort of dresses, that area to me doesn't really seem to have hit where we want it to hit yet. But I have to say, the more and more that I see Virginie Viard's tailoring, it's nice to see, it's beautiful, it's structured. Like looking at this Chanel dress, it just feels very beautiful coat dress. It's stiff, it has shape, it's in this beautiful crisp white with this amazing collar, a nice little long sleeve, and you know what? I'm interested in the texture of it. I think it was paired perfectly with these little booty pumps that are giving me very like Marie Antoinette, but a little bit high heel version. And normally I wouldn't love the pattern on shoes like these, but something about it feels just very old world, like in a museum, historical. So I'm down for it. Also, she wore another James Mary mask, and this one was a little bit more curvaceous and sort of shorter, but I just love that she's like referencing Masquerade and like Venice and playing into like the idea of wearing a mask for your safety because we're in the middle of a global pandemic. quick. Like, I really enjoy that. I think that's what I'm looking for when, you know, celebrities are stepping out. Like, make the masks fun, make it an accessory. I think what we could do is sort of make it a style that is very important to us and a part of our generation and a part of this time in fashion history is, you know, make the mask cool, make it interesting. Because when we look back to the next time there's a pandemic, we say, well, at least they looked good. That's what I'm about. The finale look we're going to be talking about is Vanessa Kirby in this Valentino dress. Now, it's very simple Valentino, but it's haute couture nonetheless. And it's just a really beautiful fitted red dress. And normally I'm not a big red person, don't care, but Valentino is famous for its Valentino Rosso, which is their red. They sort of have like a red that is so associated with the brand and its history. And in reality, I think this is a beautiful color on Vanessa Kirby, and I think the turtleneck with the long sleeve, and it's still sort of fitted, has this nice, quite sexy yet classy vibe. And then when you have her turn around, you can see the backless outline, and I'm like, this is what I needed. It's really simple, but I think it really, really works very, very well. I think it's strong. I think it's understandable. Do I wish that maybe there was a little bit of like a dramatic Valentino headdress going on? Yeah, I'll take one. It never hurt any time before. I feel like we could have added something a little bit there to, you know, interest it up a bit. Maybe a mask. What about an interesting mask? That could have been cool. We could have zhuzhed it up a bit, but I think it's a great dress. I think it really works well on her, and I'm happy about it. So that is the end of our Venice Film Festival 2020 red carpet review. I hope you guys all enjoyed. I mean, it's so nice to have something like this back. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I will see you guys in the next video, and TTYL.